Okay. And we should be live. Also, I just realized how I really need to do something about this. I never really realized why I did this before. Now I remember I don't often show myself on camera specifically for this reason. Anyway, howdy howdy, this is, to steal a phrase, my name's MrBen. Welcome to the Aftershow discussion. So, um, yes, this is the first of, well, not very many. I've actually kind of held one chat only in my own private channel, but this is actually the first I've ever actually done anything of this particular sort. Welcome to Babble On, the sort of name that I gave for this particular after show discussion. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring her on. Give me 1 second. Lol.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
So, anyway, the reason why I'm doing is I'm bringing Xena on. We're going to be more or less continuing the discussion that we had right from earlier today with the discussion that we had about why we're here and, you know, what's keeping us here in this particular fandom, what's keeping us here in this, on show. So anyway, like I was mentioning in the chat room, main reason why I'm still in here with this, to answer Ben's question here, where I got the idea to after show discussion is there's been things that I've thought of where we've discussed with what Elliot just said, where we be going on to like a part two, but EJ has his own events with his life that he has to take care of. And, we generally run for the show for about maybe 2 hours, but there are some ideas of some plots, notions that I think would actually be better off, being discussed even further. So, provided that nobody's planning on going after the particular show that day. Like, for example, Tim would normally be doing his game show, but he's not doing it this week. I figured, well, let's go ahead and take the idea that we had and just talk about it a little bit further, or at least elaborate a bit on what I wanted to do that I may not remember in a week's time. We don't have to do that. The opening the Babble with Brony's room, and we're pretty much all here. We can continue discussing it in this particular room. I will be recording this anyway, so at least I should be recording this. If not,
Yeah, you really should be.
well, that's just the thing. I don't think I could actually determine whether or not I'm able to. Whatchamacallit here?
I'm going to apologize in advance if my keyboard is loud. I've recently gotten a mechanical keyboard, and it's better for me to type on, and I type kind of more enthusiastic on it. I'll try not to bottom out the keys as much, but I'm just writing some notes for things I want to say, so I'm just putting that out there.
I can't tell if I'm recording this right in the middle of the stream, but I should be. I usually have it set as a default anyway, so. Anyway. So, as I was about to say, the main reason why I got into the fandom was, as I mentioned in the chat room, I got into the fandom because it was just something to me that was, I didn't understand. It was, I went onto, like, websites, mainly art sites that I had been frequenting, but it's like, everywhere that I went, actually, yeah, I could always edit this. Give me 1 second. Should be producing a recording as is. Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and stop this right here, and I will check that right now, because I could always edit this together. This won't be a problem. 1 moment.
Oh, yeah. Snipes out of boredom.
And we should be back. Yes, I did double check the recording. It is automatically saved to hard drive. Um, so yeah, as I was mentioning before I stopped recording to double check on this, the
Hmm.
main reason why I got into the fandom was, again, I'd seen it everywhere, pretty much all over the net. And I didn't understand why this show was so bloody popular, and so I decided, well, let's go ahead and indulge curiosity. I went to YouTube, I pulled up the first episode, and I started, watching it. And, at the end of the show, well, it ended on a bloody cliffhanger, and I couldn't just leave it there. So I went on to the second episode, and, that ended on, a rather pleasant note. But then I kind of went on to morbid curiosity, and I just clicked on the third episode just to see where it would go. And by the time I actually went on to the fourth episode, I still didn't know what the hell, why this show was so bloody popular, but at that point, I no longer cared. I was hooked. So, um, but yes, aside from that, I had gone into other websites. I started going on to EQD because it's actually kind of funny because I'm going to let you know about something right this now. Of the three members of Babble with Bronies, myself, Tim, and Elliot, I am maybe the only person that actually reads fan fiction on a regular basis. So that was the main reason I went to EQD, was mainly because of the fiction. Because I actually, to be honest with you, I kind of consider myself a bit of an author when it comes to that. I love writing, and that's what I want to do. Eventually, I am in the process of making my own sort of novel on the side, but I am actually. We have. Sorry. Don't I just hate it when your train of thought just gets derailed? Anyway, the main reason why I started going on to the EQD was mainly because I wanted to do. Mainly the reason is that I do love reading fan fiction. I love reading fiction, whether it be fan fiction, whether it be actual stories, whether it be books. Um, it's just one of my favorite things to do. And in fact, I may have mentioned this a couple of times beforehand, but I'm actually in the process of helping to co-author a couple of fan fictions myself. If you go into FimFiction or fanfiction.net or something like that, look up Crazy Rabid Pony and a couple of her fanfictions, specifically Lion and the Lamb and Fire and Ice. Now, Fire and Ice is a bit of a more mature. I mean, there's nothing, something you really have to worry about. It's listed as that, but that's only because of a more darker theme. It's not more adult, if you will. So, get those thoughts out of your mind. It has nothing to do with that. But those are two fanfictions I will definitely go ahead and recommend. Open bracket, shameless plug, or / shameless plug, close bracket. Anyhow, I love doing some of this information right there. And I went ahead and I started to get into that. I looked in on the fan artist. I started going and going to websites such as Derpy Brew, but well, not actually Derpy Brew. It was Pony Brew at the time, and it was still, while it was still up, I actually had done a couple of Let's Plays, and I had submitted them to EQD. I had done a playthrough of Super Fluttershy Land 2, and I also did a playthrough of Pokepony Panic, which were my first two playthroughs, Let's Plays of actual pony stuff that I had gone into. But that was where I actually met my friend Nate. But what had drawn me into this particular website was because I had been going on to EQD, and I had saw that first website, or that first little blurb that Elliot had sent about discussing the show and discussing the actual nature of how things were going to run. And I thought, well, okay, well, this is going to be kind of interesting. Let me go ahead and check this out, see what this is all about. So I went on to Vocal, and Elliot did his episode 0, and I had to admit that okay, this is actually rather interesting. I would be willing to check in with this, see where this goes, and be a part of this. And the next week we went ahead and we did our actual first episode, and then the second week after that we went on to discussing other issues. We went through discussing Discord. We went through episodes, like he said, episodes 1 through 6, and then by like the end of episode 7, Elliot had mentioned that he wanted to move away from vocal, and he had wanted to look out for some other websites, to actually broadcast from. And I had done a few live streams of my own through Ustream. I had been using Ustream Producer at the time. I hadn't had any actual broadcasting software from like what I'm using right now, because I was only doing this mainly to do my game streams. I love doing actual live streams in regards to my games because, well, I kind of like to entertain people. I'm not going to lie. That's one of my things that I like to do. I'm going to give a bit of a personal philosophy on my life. If I have not gone one day without making at least somebody smile, I have not done my job. But I'm getting off track here. Anyway, Elliot had mentioned that he had wanted to do, streaming from another website, and he was asking the chat room at large, well, hey, does anybody know, anything about regarding I could actually do of, broadcasting from somewhere else? And I basically was like the first person to like raise my hand and be like, hey, I might be able to help you out with that. I know of Ustream, I know of Livestream. There are at least these two sites you could try them out. And he went forward and he tried, I think, Livestream was first. That was what we went with when we started the Tripod website. But one thing led to another, and I think by the end of the 7th episode, like he said, 7th or 8th, he came up to me and he said, well, hey, I might need some help with getting this taken care of. I've noticed you've been kind of regularly. Would you mind helping me out with this? And I said, yeah, sure. I ain't got no job. I ain't got shit to do. So figure, what the hell? This might be fun. And, the rest, as they say, is history. So, but yeah, we went pretty much through there, and he pretty much decided the whole Tripod website. I was given IRC half op powers at the time because, it was just the two of us, and yeah, I will admit, yeah, Tex, it has been fun. So, I mean, like I did mention, or not so much like I mentioned, like Elliot mentioned earlier in the actual show. Yeah, for like the longest time, there has been actually many episodes. You can go back in our history if you actually check the archives tab in our Babble with Bronies on Cinema Equestrian. You go back to like the early episodes from like episode 8 through like episode like 30, for maybe like the exact, maybe with like the sole exceptions of like a few a few interview episodes, especially like the Brony State episodes that we did. There's going to be a lot of episodes where it's just him and me. I'm like literally the only person in chat room giving any sort of discussion, just with us doing back and forth on that. Oh, yeah. Okay, 35. I stand corrected. See, I don't often go back in my history. I don't keep notes of what we do. That's sort of his job. I should be kind of doing this, because considering that I'm going to be running an episode of myself in a few weeks. I really should be getting on the ball and actually getting this done. But that's me. I'm not really that organized. As you can see from my room behind me, I'm not a very organized person. So
it's okay. We have people that are organized for us.
So yeah. But yes, I have to admit, I have missed maybe out of all over 100 episodes that we've done, I have missed maybe possibly 4. So yeah, like he said, you can count on one hand the amount of episodes I've missed. That's how long I've been with this show. So, and just for reference, I also have a bottle of good water with me. So I'm not just drinking soda. Actually, that's not a dorm room. This is actually my actual house room. I'm actually at home. This is a room here that my dad and I actually built for myself about 2 years back. So, but yeah, I've been here from the very beginning, and I I have actually mentioned this, and I am not gonna lie. This show right here, aside from my church attendance that I've been doing, this is the highlight of my week. So this is like one of the things that I love looking forward to probably most of any given week, aside from our anime equestria that we've recently been doing. For like the longest time, the best thing that I had to look forward to was the show. I mean, that may sound sad to some people, but I mean, this was. I mean, aside from me going to work, I really don't have any actual social life. I don't really hang out with people. I don't actually go out and do stuff. Um, I'm I suppose, forgive me sounding kind of odd here, but I'm kind of what the Japanese would call a hikikomori. Basically, a guy who spends almost all of his daylight waking hours in the basement on his computer. So, so yeah, that's
That's odd. How?
well, the hikikomori is kind of like the concept of that is kind of like a to the point of being a complete social recluse, to where they like completely eschew all social contact outside of their computer. And I'm not antisocial, not like I used to be when I was a younger teenager, because I am actually very sociable when it comes to being out and about, when I'm actually get my bottom out of my chair and actually out into the real world, and when I stop hissing at the natural sunlight. I'm actually a rather pleasant. I like to think I'm a rather pleasant person to be around. So, um, but yes, like I said, aside from going out and getting errands done and getting work done, I even now to this day, I mean, I still only work part time, and hopefully that will be changing soon, since I'm waiting to hear back from my new full time job about when exactly I'm supposed to be starting my orientation for the security job I've got. The one thing I'm not really looking forward to is I'm not looking forward to doing the midnight graveyard shift. But yeah, I do that makes me feel nice. Is you telling me that is because I try to be optimistic. Well, not so much optimistic. I try to look on the better side of things. I do try to be a realist in that, you know, we have some issues going on here at my household. I understand. For those of you who are not fully aware of what I'm going through, many people in the chat already know this story, but I recently lost my mother last year, about 4 months back in October, and we've had some issues, um, and it's well, if it hasn't been one thing, it's been another. We recently lost my mom, and you know, we've had one sort of bad thing just hit us like right after the next. But you still have to keep you you still have to keep a smile on your face, because that's what keeps you going. At least that's what keeps me going. Is I can't lose hope in the face of all the crap that's been going on. So it's just yeah. Well, I would like to say I hope this will be a better year for me as well. It's just last week we got information that, well, it's going to be a bit of an even harder financial situation for us than we had anticipated. But, things will work out in the end. That I have no doubt. So, but anywho, again, enough of me. As I was saying, the main reason why I'm still a part of this particular fandom and part of this particular show here, why I'm still part, why I'm still part of this project, is because, like I said, with Babble with Bronies, I've been here from day one, and I've stuck with this through thick and thin, and, with it being my level of commitment to this, I haven't really done a whole heck of a lot. But, I would still like to say that I would like to be here at least, well, when the final curtain call comes down. I mean, I've been here since day one. I'd like to see this through to the bitter end. And that's not just with Babble with Bronies, but that's also with Cinema Equestria. Thick and thin. Yeah, more like heaven and hell. That's damn sure.
Oh gosh.
But yeah. But yeah. We joined Brony State and we left Brony State, and we left Brony State for reasons that, are our own. And do I, like with Elliot, hey, do I regret being part of that site? Do I regret leaving that? Not in the least. Joining Brony State gave me a lot of insight of not just to other people in regards to working with the team, because I'm going to be honest with you. Like I mentioned in the chat room earlier during the actual episode, Babble with Bronies has maybe been the first group project that I have ever been a part of that I haven't wanted to kill somebody over. I'm serious. I mean,
No, I'm laughing because I know the feeling. It's like group projects either end up in good things, in like one case out of 45, or they end up in murder, 44 cases out of 45.
but But yeah, there's been a little image macro I saw where I swear this is true, but group projects in school, or not just in school, but just group projects in general, what they have taught me is, like, there has been like a pie chart where there's like 10% of it is, working with others, 20% is, or no, actually 5% is working with others, 5% is getting to make friends, and like the other 90% is trust nobody.
Oh gosh, it's even worse in the professional world.
So it's like, yeah,
You'd think that at a certain point, people would just, mature and realize that, they have to write a fucking message when they make a change to the code, or they have to, I don't know. Oh, is this the picture?
let me double check.
Yes, it is.
Yep. That's definitely it. Yep. That is very much it. Yes. In fact, hang on. Let me actually pull this over, and I will actually pull it up on the screen just to give people that may be watching the recording little
Context.
a little context, just so they know what I'm talking about. This is the picture in question for those watching the recording. This is what I'm talking about. This is what group projects taught me throughout school, is that, yes, trust nobody. People are assholes. So, but yeah, that is, like I said, the main reason why I loved this is because, I'm part of a crew here, that is by and large, people I can relate to. These are people that I could honestly say, I could act like I'm from the ghetto, like, hey, brother from another mother, or something like that. That's just me. I have to admit, like I said, this has been a blast. We've had, our hard times, we've had our rough patches, but excuse me, there has nothing there has not been any part of this show that we started all the way back in the beginning of, or near the middle of November of 2011, that I would trade for the world. I'm about to say, the guys that I've been doing this with, not just Babble with Bronies, but Cinema Equestria, I can honestly say that they are among the few I can legitimately call them my best friends. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not generally the type of person to actually consider someone or over another as a best friend. But these guys, I mean, hell, if they ask me to do something, I will do my damnedest to do it. And that makes me kind of feel bad because there's been times that, they have asked me to do something and I haven't actually, been through with them. And, that is kind of a small regret, but that's just a regret on my issue. That's on my end. That's more of like, I could have done this, but, we're all human. So.
Shit happens, to put it bluntly.
Tex, I am going to say this. I have remembered this saying here. A good friend is the type of person who will bail you out from jail. A best friend's the guy sitting next to you saying, "That was fun, wasn't
it?" It's so true.
So, but yeah, that's the main. Like I said, that's the main reason why I'm staying in this particular group. We've been through so much, and we still have so much to go through. I mean, we're going right now into the 5th season of Pony. They've stated that we've got at least another 5 years to go before the show is supposed to probably end. It says,
God.
I think it said it was gonna maybe have the final season at least thus far in about maybe 2018, 2019. So yeah, hey, I'm in this for the long haul.
That's going to be longer than Star Trek: The Next Generation or gosh, that's the only show I can think of that would be longer. No, even close to as long. Maybe Voyager. I don't know.
So yeah, but
10 seasons of horses, though.
yeah. And like I said, I'm curious as to where this is going to take us. And I've never thought that I would ever have gotten into this. So, but yeah, since if we're ending in 2019, I mean, heck, bring it on. I want to see where this goes. The end of season 3. We're kind of getting into a bit of getting ahead of ourselves here in regards to Babble with Bronies. But the end of season 3, a lot of people got really upset about the whole Twilight thing. To me, heck, yeah, I have always said that making Alicorn Twilight, having her ascend to that would have been more of a series ending thing to myself. But when they had stated that no, they was going to go into the 4th season and that this wasn't a temporary thing, this was actually going to be a permanent change, I was like, okay, let's sit back. Let's see where this takes us.
I have faith in M.A. Larson.
Yeah. And then season 4 came, and season 4 went, and season 4, forgive my French, fucking blew me out of the water. And
I'm gonna sound like such a hypocrite saying this. I haven't seen all of season 4 yet.
You should.
I know. I've been meaning to. It's been bugging me on Netflix, and so has Rainbow Rocks. But I've been watching horror movies and prison documentaries.
But But yeah, like I said, I went through all of season four. I've watched it, and with the end of season four going on to ending on another note of where this is going to go, I can only imagine how season five is going to turn out. And with the I will have to admit, a small part of the what's the term that they gave out at Comic Con where it was like that sort of half finished animation that they sort of released as a teaser, that couple minute one.
Teaser's the closest you get.
Yeah, it was something that I was like, oh, this is going to really be interesting, actually. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to where this is going to take us, season five and beyond. So um, that's pretty much my story. Princess McSun, but I love. I will admit this. I would, unlikely as it is, I would like to see another return of Nightmare Moon. I would like to see another return of the villains, but that's another topic for another time, I think.
Actually, something that some people and I had discussed around the end of around season three time was sort of an episode where Twilight Sparkle just legitimately went evil, like Discord level evil.
Oh,
Uh,
that's interesting.
it would be a very interesting twist to the sort of the formula. I lost the notes on the logs of the discussion we had on that, but yeah, it was like a 5 hour discussion or something.
Wow. But yes, to answer Tex's question, yes, I would like to see Chrysalis come back. And we did actually see a teaser thing right there at the end of Bats, where we did see that hint of that Fang, like right there at um, the last
Hmm.
whatchamacallit.
The
So
last frames, yeah.
yeah, the last few frames. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be expecting a callback to that at some point. Um, but yes, Evil Twilight would definitely be rather interesting. I have seen that on fan fictions, but Possession or Choice, that would really be awesome. I would really hope that if they do go that route, that they actually don't do what some ideas do on awesome what some authors do, and we're like, okay, it's Twilight, but no, it's not actually Twilight. It was a clone or a golem or some dark magic construct designed to be her mirror image self. We've already had the Reflections art from the IDW comics, and while that was actually a rather interesting twist on that, I would love to see something like that to where it is actually a legitimate thing where Twilight does um, kind of go bonkers, if you will.
I guess I should start with this giant pile of notes that I've been clacking away at.
All right.
So, something that I sort of touched on in there when Elliot was speaking, and asking people about their histories, and mine went in with the crowd of others with the unreadable colors that I have. Uh, I really started. This is going to sound surprising to a lot of people that don't already know this, but I started as an anti-pony hate troll. I had seen it everywhere, like Equestria Daily, and I thought, it was just a bunch of trolls from 4chan just legitimately trying to screw with people. I mean, given their track record, this is not a huge logical leap. I mean, but then I really got sniped out of boredom one day. It was a Saturday. I was sick. I got linked to the first episode. They said it was kind of like the TV shows that were, from the good old days. Like Rocco's Modern Life and Angry Beavers. Name another one. I'm trying to think of it. Doug. No. Rugrats? I don't know.
I suppose that would work.
Like the Nickelodeon stuff, the Cartoon Network stuff, the stuff that like childhood is made out of.
Yeah.
And I saw the first episode, and as we all know, it is kind of really cliche. And once upon a time in the magical land of Equestria, yeah, I told my friend that I'd watched the end of it, and it was a two-parter. So it got me there, and I pretty much binged the entire first season in a week. This was when I first got into the show was about a week before that episode with Spike turning evil and Rarity and the Fire Ruby and that stuff. I don't remember the name of it, but you should know what I'm getting at.
I know what you're getting at. I think it's Secret to My Excess.
Yes, it was like season 2, episode 9 or something.
Yeah.
I should know this. And after that, I actually started. I actually found Equestria Daily shortly after that. Like the first time you see it, you're like, "Oh, look, this is just for a bunch of autistic man children to hang around with." And the second time I found it, it was like, really, oh, this is an interesting site. And I guess it's everybody's gateway drug.
Yeah, one of the main locations that I started out with wasn't so much. It was EQD was like one of the main things, but I also used to frequent Sync2 when it was still up. I didn't actually start going to Brony State until I may have gone. I went once. Because I never actually went to Brony State on a regular basis. The only time I went there was I think when they was showing Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and then I went once for their December. But I didn't actually start going there regularly until after I joined the crew with Elliot. When I used to start getting the new episodes, I always used to just hit Equestria Daily, and I would just always check in on the YouTube links and just watch it from there.
Oh yeah. Actually, Pony Archive at all?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've actually been there. That's the one where they archive all of the episodes and
The one
stuff,
where
right?
they formerly did, yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as Pony Archive started going down the toilet, I actually got myself into the people that were working on the successor called the A-Ponies, and I'm still a part of that, although I've been kind of inactive lately. I actually planted an Easter egg in some of the files that I released for Yay Ponies that have become what people have referred to the two-parter episode for the royal wedding. So far, every time you hear someone call the first part BBBFF and the second part Cadence Restored, that was stuff I came up with as an Easter egg, and people have literally referred to it as that.
Nice. Now this is sort of a silly question. The Pony Archive guys, they were the ones who threw a hissy fit in the No Bro and Hasbro one, right?
I think that was the guys, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember something like that being a
Has more than bro.
yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I remember something like that drama unfolding, and before they formally threw in the towel. But
After about a day after they threw in the towel is when Yay Pony started up, and it's been a fun ride. Actually, at Yay Ponies, at one point we had a software called Requiem or something that would decrypt iTunes purchases. So we'd have a race to see who could download the episode off of iTunes the fastest and prep it for torrenting. I won with the season enders, and that's why I got to name the stuff that way.
that's pretty.
But yeah.
I was about to say that's pretty cool. I've never actually done anything like I had been tempted to do some other fandom stuff as well. I have wanted to do more involvement in with like some of the other fan projects. Like for when people wanted like voices to do like live readings and stuff, I've wanted to do more of that. To be honest with you, that was one of the things that I kind of like doing because you know me with us doing like the comic readings and stuff. Oh, I love doing that. That is like one of my favorite parts of Babble with Bros. I'm not gonna lie, is
I'm
just
jealous with you. I want to do that shit too.
but one of the funny things, one of the best things of doing this particular the live readings is being able to do the crazy voices. It's kind of funny because Elliot has said that he tries to go for the to be as show accurate as possible, and bless him, he tries. He tries, and it's funny to listen to him to do that because I am just trying to hold back my laughter when the first time I heard him voice Twilight Sparkle, I nearly fell out of my chair, and I was like, okay, that is like the best, and oh, and speak of the devil, he actually has to leave. I was kind of wondering what he wanted to say about that. But funny thing is that he strives for the whatchamacallit. He strives for to be as close to the voice actors on the show as possible. Even if he knows he can't do it, he tries to at least make his voice sound feminine. But I mean, you listen to his voice, you listen to mine, and I'm like, yeah, no, I can't do that. I mean, this is probably the highest I can get my voice, so I can't do anything feminine. I'm not gonna lie. So I figure, well, if I can't do a feminine voice, I figure I'm just gonna, go completely over the top as possible and just and just
Go
deliberately,
the extra mile.
yeah, just dive head first into the realm of ridiculous. Because I know that I'm not going to do anything like that sort. If I had to admit of anything, in regards to any show accurate,
You look like Mickey.
it's a Mickey Mouse, yeah. Like I said, I can't do a woman's voice. I simply can't do that. If there was any show accurate voice I could probably do, let me. Oh, great. Now that I'm actually getting this recorded and with a live audience, I'm not sure if I can actually do this. Deer in the headlights. Deer in the headlights syndrome.
Hi. I'm Fluttershy. I'm Fluttershy.
That's not half bad, actually.
Voice training is a bitch, though.
Let's see.
Oh God.
No, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't do Discord. I'm afraid that I can't really. The laugh I might be able to. No, that's not it. See, I fucked
I
that up
gotta
too.
be honest though. Discord, pretty much, John DeLance. When they were writing the Discord episodes, I found out they had watched a bit of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and they were like, "We need Q," and they got Q to basically play Q and troll the ponies, and it was great.
And I know I love that so much. Just John Delancey being.
It also, if you go through, you'll see some of the visual gags are identical to the special effects that they use in The Next Generation for Q. Like his teleporting around with the diamond effect, that was totally ripped from Next Generation.
Really? That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, a friend and I were watching some Star Trek: The Next Generation after watching some Friendship is Magic, and we noticed that. It's ridiculous. It's the little things they do that you don't see.
That's one of the reasons why I love the season 4 episode. The one. Damn it! Now that I can't. I don't remember the name of it now. It's the one with Discord and the Blue Flu.
And
Where
I haven't seen that one.
Okay. Well, the thing is that I'm not going to spoil the whole episode, but the thing is that there are so many call outs and shout outs to like other fandoms, and not just fandoms, but like just movies and stuff like that. They have Discord like popping in and out of like costumes. He does like a shout out to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He does a shout out to Harry Potter. He does like three's a crowd. That's it. The main villain, or not the main villain, but the main antagonist in that particular episode is also based off of the Tatzelworm from, or not the Tatzelworm, the Graboids. I done spoiled it. It's called a Tatzelworm, but it's very obviously based off the Graboids from Tremors. So not just Discord alone, but just the whole episode is just one big giant multiple shout out to like so many different types of you know art. It is one of my favorite episodes, just because you can watch that again and again and again, and there's something else that you could have, you know, always something new to see when you watch it again. Just, oh hey, I didn't notice this the last time. Oh hey, I didn't notice that the last time. Oh hey, well, and it's just like you said, the little things that make it. So
I guess I should continue with my notes. We got distracted. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's a talk show. We talk. Talking on a talk show is good. Then I remember something and something that I know you guys all know about is there's actually a bit of a story behind Barkley Pie Slam Jam Slam song. A friend of mine actually made the audio for it. His name is Misha Dash. He's been a part of Philadelphia radio for a long time, and I had a copy of Flash 8 that I actually got in middle school. Way back in middle school, I nearly got expelled from school because I learned how to make Flash games, and I've been using their license for Flash ever since.
wow, that's
Yeah, because they thought that I was downloading stuff to my profile, and then they heard I was learning how to code, and afraid that I was executing arbitrary code on their machines, and yeah, you can see how the paranoid school district idiots would see it. My dad was like, lol, no, and got me out of it. But I still use their copy of Flash. So I figured, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do something that nobody has ever done. I'm going to paste Charles Barkley face all over Pinkie Pie.
and
My roommate,
Yeah.
he this was just on the cusp of when I was becoming a brony, but my roommate saw this, and he actually had my RA do a drug test on me.
Are you serious?
Yes. Oh, gosh.
That is brilliant. Oh, that is. Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
I have actually had people ask me if I was on drugs when I was thinking up my own storylines for the fanfics that I have thought up. Not so much the fanfics, but the I'm gonna admit this. Not only am I an author in regards to like fiction, I also do a lot of role plays. Off site, through with some friends. I don't actually do forum or anything, so I'm not like public about that or anything like that. But that's one of the reasons why I love doing that sort of thing, is because it helps me to develop my writing skills. But some of the ideas that I think of for fiction wise, regardless of whether I'm actually writing about it, in regards to like say a book or a fan fiction or even for a role play, I'll sometimes bounce some ideas off some friends, and I have actually gotten one time where one of my friends was convinced I was smoking weed, and I'm like, no, I have never touched marijuana, I have never touched pot, I have never touched any hard drugs of any kind in my entire life. And he didn't believe me.
Weed actually gives me a huge headache. I've been around the smell. The smell of burning weed really gives me a huge headache. I have no idea why.
Oh.
Oh, where was I? Oh, yeah. And then there's this IRC network thing that you're talking on, this Pony Chat place.
Yeah.
A few people know that at one point I was involved with them a lot. I actually am currently the maintainer of the IRC daemon PonyChat uses. It's called Elemental IRCD. Actually, I've been drawn at the whiteboard to completely replace it because it's like 25 years of patches on top of crap with like schizophrenic programming all over and maintained by idiots. And one of the biggest things I had to do was put everything to a consistent coding style, which for something that sounds so trivial, it was over over 3 megabytes of text to change, which is not a little bit. And I have also had a bit of a different experience with Brony State from sort of the back end of PonyChat. How do I put this lightly? They appeared to not be managing their channel correctly. There were a lot of issues with how they were handing out permissions and how things worked and other stuff that, oh god. Those freaking auto kick scripts for colors. I mean, actually, I know the people in the Cinequestria staff know this, but my color combination, one that is unreadable. This one actually started as a joke in one of the PonyChat staff backrooms when we were coming up with like color combinations.
Oh, the rainbow script one.
No, not the rainbows, just the normal one. I have it registered in my client as blindpeople.py.
Oops.
The script's name is literally blind people. Yeah. Actually, it's my fault that now the channel plus the channel mode plus C only strips for non-half ops or higher. We made that so you could get rid of those automatic kick scripts, which honestly are pretty useful to get rid of. They were pretty buggy. And there's just a lot of stuff that, like, behind the scenes that people never would have known are issues. There's been people that have come and gone that, obviously need to get excised. I don't know if you remember this guy, but his name was Fraxter.
No, I never actually heard of that name.
Good. Oh, God. I had an interesting experience with him that ended up actually sharing an apartment with him, and it led to a new rule that I do not get apartments with people with mental handicaps anymore.
Uh-huh. Well.
Yeah. Yeah, Alatex. I'm sorry you know him. Oh, God. And from there, I've really just been right now hopping contract to contract. I've been working on some of the back end for the hosting for the Cinequestria.com site. I know that you guys have seen that right now when you type in Cinequestria.com, it relays you to like some sort of like it relays you to like cinequestria.apps.zserve.us.
Yeah, we have her to thank for that. So give her some thanks on that. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Alatex. No, I don't. I don't want to talk about him anymore. I don't want to have the flashbacks of the bad memories. It wasn't good.
We've all been there. I can tell you right that I've had similar experiences with people. Not so much that I've had to live with them, but in regards to like a full-time basis, but there have been people that I have been like, I am going to be honest. They're, just individuals that if I ever see them again, it will be too soon. And this has been like, I'm talking back to where this is going like nearly 20 years back, and I'm only 28, so.
Yeah, I just turned 21 this year. I found out I have no tolerance for alcohol whatsoever, and I'll just get drunk instantly.
That's actually kind of funny. I haven't been drunk yet. Keyword being yet. So
I'm sure at a con that'll change.
I'm sure it will. But then again, part of the reason why it may not be is because, well, webcam.
Fell over. Okay.
That's nearly 400 pounds right there. I'm going to let you know right now. I'm a big man, even though I may not look like it. So,
News to me.
so yeah. Um,
I actually, right now, I have something that I'm playing with, a sort of beta for a different version of the site. I've pasted a link to it in the chat. It's sort of bootstrappy. It sort of looks it looks pretty, like Web 2.0 and it obviously needs a lot of work. If you check most of the links 404 with the wrong status code too, because I literally just added that error page earlier today, so I could show it off without it showing exceptions everywhere and people click on stuff that doesn't exist. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that we're working. I'm sorry, words is hard. This is the kind of stuff that's coming down the pipe. Things that are still in early betas, and yeah. Hold on a sec. This is going to confuse some people, I know. Here's actually the if you click on somewhere that where a link doesn't resolve or it's a 404, it actually will execute a code from that link I put in there. If you take a look at it, it's just really simple, really easy. And this is the kind of stuff that I'd like the site to be based off of, mainly because it's actually this code. You'd look at it, and even if you don't know programming, you can still tell what it's doing in terms of the HTML it's generating. But it isn't like ugly or verbose. It's very simple and down to earth. And this is the kind of stuff that is really just fun to write. This is the kind of stuff that I'd like to get in the hands of more people, and yeah. I went into a sort of tangent off my tangent.
That's not a problem.
Is it a cotangent or a sine at that point?
I don't know, actually. Math was never my strong point in school.
Oh god, I never got past pre-calc, and here I am, a computer science person.
Hey, pre-calc, I mean, I look at algebra and I'm like... But actually, algebra by itself wasn't so bad. It was like the getting into anything beyond that learning the basics of trigonometry. It's like,
oh god.
You look at anything. I mean, even now. I mean, I've been out of school for 10 years now, over 10 years now, high school that is, and I mean, if you were to come up to me with anything, beyond just basic arithmetic, I'd probably just give you like a deer in the headlights look. And because, like I said, I'm 28, and there are times I'm like trying to do basic arithmetic, and I'm still counting on my fingers on like how to add stuff up. And
Not gonna lie, I do count on my fingers sometimes, but when I do, it's usually in binary. So
yeah, it's better skill than I am. Note to self: hunt down Elliot, bug him about math tutoring.
Oh yeah, if I ever go back into school, I'm probably going to be chasing him down for some sort of tutoring gig.
So yeah,
sure, he could use the money too.
Yeah, I was about to say yes. Please teach me. I will pay you. But it's actually kind of funny because I would like to say that in regards to school subjects, I would like to say that English is my strongest. But then again, I would like to write something out and then give it off, and then would not surprise me if it comes back with like 1,500 grammar errors. Like,
That's over 9,000.
so I said 1,500, not
No, oh
15,000.
crap, that isn't over 9,000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Numbers is hard.
That's fine. Like we just said, math. um, Funny thing is that my favorite subject in school was science. And that's only because of the fact I loved like astronomy. I loved looking at like stars and you know finding planetary systems. And part of me, like, I kind of wanted to actually go up in space and be an astronaut when I was a kid. But then I realized that that sort of science involved like a lot of math, and I'm like, math just freaking terrified me. And I'm like, no, let's just no.
Yeah, at my level, I've pretty much figured out how to do how to make the computer do math, so I don't have to.
So so it's like, but outside of that, my other favorite subject is history. I mean, and I have to start doing more of the playthroughs of the Dynasty Warriors and the Samurai Warriors. Believe it or not, surprisingly, Dynasty Warriors has been maybe the one game that actually got me into learning Chinese history. I am not going to shit you on that. Like, and they say video games isn't educational.
Bullshit.
So yeah, but
I just said that isn't so in Chinese, for the record. I've taken both Chinese and Japanese. Uh, they're very interesting languages, at least in terms of how different they are from sort of the Latin family English stuff. Chinese right now, next to I think Hebrew is one of the oldest, if not the oldest language that's still being used.
that doesn't surprise me at all, actually.
And if you start studying Chinese, you can definitely tell. I mean, it has like a bajillion characters, and every character is a separate idea.
Yeah.
It's like ideograms, I think it's called. But it's also interesting to know that historically China had never had to make any labor-saving device except the printing press, because their language was just too painful to write out longhand.
That doesn't surprise me either, considering how complex it is.
God.
It's actually kind of interesting because in regards to language, I'm not so much interested in the writing styles. I'm more of into the linguistics myself.
Yeah, the sort of like the culture is behind it.
Yeah.
And how the language shapes the culture and how the culture shapes the language.
Yeah, it's amazing, even that in English-speaking countries, just how different the language is, so diverse. I mean, here in America alone, I mean, you can go from all the way from like say Southern California to Michigan, to Texas, to
Canada.
yeah, well, I was going to say Jersey, and just in the United States alone, yeah, you've got so many different ways of people speaking and people, their slang, but then then you add in countries like Canada, you add in countries like England, Scotland, Australia, and it's like just in English alone, it's just wow. That is just completely and totally amazing on how so different and yet so similar, a cultural language is. And it is just, trying to also not only get that sort of differences or similarities in with just the main language, but trying to compare it to other languages like French or Spanish or even even Russian, Chinese, Korean,
Oh
anything of
God,
that sort.
Russian.
Yeah, it's
Have you looked into Russian at all? It's like if you start looking into Russian at all, you'll be amazed that anyone's able to speak it. I mean,
one of my best friends. One of my good friends that I knew when I was back in Virginia when I was still going to middle school was Russian. He was from Moscow. So, and it was amazing just listening to him chat with his parents because he would just, the way he would speak it was just, I mean, I would listen to him converse with his parents, and it was amazing and beautiful and terrifying all at the same time.
it has like 20 cases as a language or something.
Yeah. It is,
Not,
yeah. It's been said that like English is the second hardest language to learn in the entire world, second only to Russian in terms of like actually learning how to linguistically speak it. So,
it's just hard because of its spelling exceptions.
yeah,
God. I before E, except after C, except followed by D, and sometimes on the 5th of May when there's a blue moon. And
you know, there's a saying I remember about English. English is like the mobsters of like is like the not
she,
yeah
the
well
mobster, she.
yeah well the saying is like English is the type of language that drags other languages to a back alley and beats them up and searches through its pockets through loose grammar and vocabulary.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Uh,
Like half of our words are from French and Spanish and German, and it's a goulash. I mean,
yes.
not sure how many people get the cultural reference of goulash these days, but hey, I can try. You know?
Yeah. But wow, we've went completely off topic here.
Oh, it's fine. This is the off-topic wonderland.
Yeah, that's true. This isn't been, this isn't actually any specific topic. I mean, this was more of an elaboration of what I originally had, but yeah, in regards to the actual topic that we had from the earlier episode for Babble with Bronies, we are indeed definitely going to be moving into a part 2 of your story next Sunday. So, yes, we will still be definitely continuing the original topic for those in the chat room. It's definitely something we will be doing. So
This is just more our time to basically keep you guys captive, and you have to listen to us, and we'll reply to you if you say something in the IRC. Except not really, because we're kinder than that. So theoretically,
yeah. Well, now that I've actually thought about it, I don't know how many people are actually paying attention, but I will definitely go. Well, aside from text, anyway.
I actually linked this to a couple people over on another IRC network that I am part of. Yeah.
Because I was just about to suggest, I mean, while we're here, I mean, why don't we just go ahead and just say to heck with it and just go ahead and do an impromptu open interview, just, a sort of an AMA. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
God damn it, the hive mind again.
Yep.
This is what happens when you work with people, you hive mind. But yeah, really, ask me anything. Really. I have the time.
Well, all right then. So how exactly did you get into the IRC network here like this?
On PonyChat?
Yeah, well, just in general, really.
I actually started with sort of Bronies and IRC on a network called Freenode. It's more commonly used for like open source project development. But there was a channel called #Reddit-MLP for the R My Little Pony subreddit. And I've been a part of that for, maybe 3 years now, I think it is. It might even be 4. Gosh, it's been a long time. But yeah, from there, I heard about Pony Archive, and their channel was on Pony Chat, so that's where I connected to. Uh, and it's kind of downhill from there.
Oh. Well, aside from Pony Archive and the Yay Ponies and with us, is there like any other projects that you're part of aside from the IRC network as well?
Um, I've actually been working a lot with people in this. It's a program called Docker. What it'll do is it'll let you sort of break down a server into a bunch of smaller containers so that you can sort of orchestrate it better. And a lot of stuff I've been doing has been stuff with that. Like, for example, the Cinema Equestria site right now is hosted inside a Docker container, and nobody would admit it'll tell.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't, but then again, I'm not that technologically savvy, so.
I figured it was a nice, easy way to take something that I've been using at a couple jobs and just make maintenance easier. It does remove some more nicer things like FTP access, but it hasn't been a problem so far, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. You know?
Yeah.
And someone just highlighted me.
So yeah.
Yeah, if people in the chat say something, can you just say it over here? I don't have my thing focused to my IRC client.
And I apologize for my snarkiness. I'm just being an ass.
I know.
So,
I know how to read voices.
So yeah.
I'm a social engineer and a software engineer.
But yeah, Tex has a question. He wants to ask something. We'll just give him a moment to type out the actual question. Probably not a bad idea. I'm just gonna say that right now. Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, that kind of awkward there.
No, that's not a problem. There are just certain topics that even over on the actual Babble with Bronies, there's been things where I'm gonna let us in on a bit of a secret. There's a sort of an unwritten rule that there are just certain topics that they're like, yeah, the three of us are just like, let's not worry about discussing this. Let's say, I mean, we'll address it. I mean, we're not going to like totally ignore it, but we will state that, okay, yeah, this is sort of a topic that let's not really get into.
It's a can of worms.
Yeah, exactly, and it's something we don't want to actually
accidentally offend people or something.
Yeah, exactly. So, so anyway, getting back to you, I guess I'll go ahead and I'll steal another thing from Elliot here. I guess I'll go ahead and ask a few questions. I'll go ahead and I'll ask you what he calls his first five. We've already went over and went through this, and we got that how you got into the fandom and technically what you do in the fandom. But I think his other three is what is your favorite episode from the series? What is your favorite pony from G4? Favorite character from G4, and then favorite My Little Pony character overall, regardless of generation.
Okay, let's think about this. This is going to sound so hypocritical, but it's really been a long time since I've sat down and watched pony episodes. Let me pull up the MLP wiki.
I'm not gonna lie. With watching the episodes, I've watched
I don't remember which one is my favorite.
Yeah. When it comes to watching episodes, I really don't watch them more than once. I'm gonna be honest. I watch them the one time, and it's usually the only other time I'll see them again is if we happen to watch them again after what we select for Anime Equestria, or
Yeah.
back when I was still on Brony State, whatever it happened to be, the one selected for after the movies that we were doing on the Friday movie nights. I generally don't pull up another episode and watch it again unless
It was a good.
at least not for fun anyway. So
Yeah.
so I can understand where you're coming from on that.
Yeah, but looking at the list, I'd have to say probably one of my favorite episodes of the series is the Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000. I'm mutilating that. I realize, but that's one of my favorites. It's a great shout out to what's it called? The Music Man. It you know it's just a really nicely done episode. I like it. It's just very well done. I like it.
So, and your favorite character?
Oh, probably Love Butt, Princess Cadence. I don't know why. It's just
As could probably be seen from your Skype icon.
oh yeah.
And that's from Generation 4. Is there like any other characters aside from her that's outside of Generation 4, or is it just her that you really care
I don't
about?
know anything about Gen. I don't know anything outside Gen 4 really.
That's perfectly fine. Well, outside of those questions that Elliot would normally ask, I usually have my standard set that I always ask just for the hell of it. My question is, okay, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, other. Which one would happen to be your favorite flavor?
Oh dear, this is a controversial one. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in, really. Chocolate is a nice. It For those of you that haven't been able to figure it out based off of a couple things that I've laid out, I'm actually currently going through a bout of clinical depression, and it's actually gotten kind of worse in the last couple months.
That's okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Family.
Say no more. I completely understand on that. No. There are just certain members that less said about them the better. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
And it's only really my birth parents, or my biological parents. I wasn't adopted or that stuff. Yeah. Parents suck. When you have a bad relationship with them, parents suck.
Yeah. Let's say I was always real close with my mom myself, and it just even now, it's just thinking about her. Just I just wish that hey. But say lovey. That's life for you. So anyhow, moving on.
Carpe carp.
So yeah, of the four classical elements, earth, fire, wind, and water, which two of these elements would you want to be able to manipulate? Which two of these four classical elements would you wish to be able to manipulate?
Well, blood would be fun. No, water.
I'll accept that. I'll just stick that under other.
Other.
Although, admittedly, that's probably the first. That's probably the first answer I've ever gotten that wasn't one of the other four of the four listed. So I'm like, okay.
As people know by now, I'm different, and sometimes
Nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes in not as good ways. It's a struggle sometimes, but I see things in ways that people don't. It's hard to clarify sometimes. A lot of if I say something that looks kind of offhand, like what the heck is that guy smoking? Yeah, that's probably me trying to be funny and failing miserably.
Hey, I'm gonna let you know on something right now. In regards to being funny, I am not a funny man at all. I consider myself more of a silly person. But yeah, there's like a lot of times where I say something that I think is funny and it gets me thrown out the window.
Or if you, or the worst part is when you're somewhere where everybody's serious and you think of something funny and have to stifle your laughter.
Mm,
Oh, that's so awkward.
yeah, yeah. So, and then my third question is, in your opinion, what is the meaning of life?
42.
For you have no idea how often I get that one. But then again, I usually set myself up for that one, so I have no one to blame but myself for
But
that. So,
actually, the thing is, the thing about that is you can't really have the answer to the meaning of the life unless you really know the question. And a lot of the time, there really is no question. This, existence is. This is going to sound kind of depressing, I realize, but existence is temporary. Everything is ephemeral. And we really have to decide. We really have to assign it meaning because inherently there is none. It's like language. Inherently, all the things I'm saying have no meaning. We just culturally and socially assign them meaning, and we use that to sort of portray, convey a idea in this very. Admittedly, this language is terrible. I mean. Oh God! If you start to get into some of the more philosophical debates, oh dear Jesus, it's terrible.
yeah.
And I think he said, I think I have a question from Alitex over here.
Yeah, alicorns why or unicorns why?
Okay. Alicorn because I think the pictures of her preening are cute.
I'm not gonna argue against that. I would have to say that myself personally, I would have to. At this point, I would definitely have to go towards Alicorn Twy myself, mainly because of the fact that
you get used to it.
Yeah, exactly. I think even Elliot had mentioned this on the during the episode earlier today, where it's like it's like you said, it's just what's the point in getting upset over something like this? What is why go over and
why you mad, bro?
Yeah, exactly. It's just I mean, of all things, it's
mundane.
Yeah, it's petty. That's what it is.
Petty, prissy, princess, pony.
That is a perfect use of alliteration right there.
It's a perfect point.
Perfect. A perfect point for a petty, pretty princess unicorn.
Pretty princess pony.
And I screwed it up! Screwed it up.
It happens.
And I blow out the eardrums of the chat again, so.
Oh, don't worry. I actually have kind of bad headphones in, so you're not blowing out my eardrums.
Pretty.
And I know somebody in here, I think it was Venher earlier, noticed that I don't usually keep my voice I don't usually put my voice on the stream. Yeah, that's right. This is going to sound kind of petty. This is going to sound kind of interesting. I'm kind of embarrassed about my voice and other things. I don't know how many people have sort of been exposed to the idea of this is going to be sort of a bit of a deeper topic. I'm sorry in advance. Sort of the idea of how to put this in terms that people would better understand.
It's a delicate issue, I know.
Oh God, I think the best way to start is gender dysphoria. I internally, it feels like this meat puppet I'm in doesn't feel like it belongs on me. An ill-fitting skin. I'm just trying to sort of go back through.
It's like you don't feel like you.
I feel like I'm lying to everybody constantly. And part of the reason why I don't really put my voice on the stream on here is because I hate how it sounds when I'm speaking at times. And this has been something that I've been battling with for like 10 years or something. And it's probably it's the fact that I'm hiding it from my parents is a good part of my stress, and it's feeding into my current bout with depression. And
Hey,
it's not going to be fun.
If there was a way I could give you a hug over the screen or over the stream or like this, I would do so.
Just wait till we get to a con, then it'll all be better.
Yeah. We really need to think something like this up. Just do like a CQ meetup or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking if we could try to Everfree Northwest. I know that's probably a flight for everyone, but we'll try to find a con to go to, and who knows, we might be able to stream live from the con.
Oh, that would be awesome. Just CQ crew, just major stream, just something like that for like a special Babble with Bronies episode live from Everfree.
That would be something.
Yeah.
Actually, I am involved with Ponyville Live, and I might be able to get. And who knows? We could probably get ourselves like a panel somewhere.
That'd be nice. Say
these weird people that talk to you on the internet and play video games and
let's say
bot wars with TF2.
Let's say we've got at least a couple of faces to the stream here anyway. Few of them. So
yeah.
Let's say I would definitely love to be able to go to an actual convention. There was one that I know of, a very small one, that was in close to where I'm at, about maybe half an hour away. That was supposed to be like in St. Louis, but like I said, it was a very, very small convention. I think there were maybe only 20 people in actual like in attendance according to their Facebook page. So I'm like, yeah, this is definitely not something we could maybe get like one of the voice actors for.
Yeah.
There was one supposed to be going all the way across, I think, in Joplin, and that was also supposed to be like a similarly small one, but they wasn't able to get like the vendors. They wasn't able to get the venue. They wasn't able to get the money to rent anything about it. So it just kind of went under that year. That was like I think back in 2013, and I meant to go to a convention last year, but then I had all that issues with Mom, with her going into surgery, and then happened to take care of her as her,
Yeah.
And then, then she died, and,
I think there's been a question over there. Is Ponyville Live a radio station? No, it's sort of a. It's sort of like a media group, basically sort of a group of affiliated radio stations or the like.
So it's not a radio station; it's a station of radio stations.
Yes. It's a lot of more people on the Canternet side of the IRC fandom, or on the IRC groups of the fandom, are part of Ponyville Live, and I've not really been able to figure out why they choose that IRC network, but who knows? Maybe they just like having abusive IRC ops or things like that. Oh, I shouldn't have said that out loud. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. In any case, there I go. My train of thought just gets derailed again. I hate that. What was I gonna say here?
Words.
Words. Yes. Words. Blah blah blah. Exposition. Prepositions.
Sentences.
Dialogue. Yeah, I'm actually drawing a blank here. I really can't think of any other questions right off the top of my head here. I suppose what are your plans aside from continuing with your current projects?
Really, it's something that I've trying to been hold on, I have to words that for a second. Um, Besides my current projects, something I'd really like to do is basically. A lot of people don't really know this, but a lot of the code for the Elemental IRCD and related projects, it's very, very, very ugly. It's basically it's over 20 years old combined. It has a lot. It has a lot of. It was made. It wasn't engineered very well. It's basically patches on top of patches on top of patches. There's a lot of stuff that scares me and is undocumented, and lots of edge cases that trigger that more than they should. And at some point, I just need to go in and rewrite it from scratch. But I've been sort of caught up in trying to engineer this so I don't have to write it again.
Mm.
If you can understand.
Yeah, I get a basic understanding on that. Just, you know,
I don't want to go back and reinvent this in 5 years. So I'm trying to figure out how I should best make it so that I don't have to.
trying to think of a permanent solution for something like that without having to constantly update it or upgrade it. I see.
Or just rip things around. I like, for example, there's a new technology called WebSockets that would allow people to have IRC clients just built right into a browser without having to have MIBIT or Flash or anything.
That sounds
and it's a really cool thing. But the thing is, the way Elemental currently is supporting that is impossible. There's just too much undocumented things in the wrong places, and something that I'd want to be able to do is make it so that for things like that, I don't have to. If I want to add support for things like WebSockets, I don't have to re-engineer anything. I just add it. You know.
Yeah, understood. Oh. So about this knowledge here, a lot of this stuff here. Well, I'm gonna ask Texas question here. What's the worst have you seen?
What's the worst have I seen in what?
In like what you're doing, like.
Oh, like in terms of the code?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this part of the code called that deals with encrypted connections, and quite honestly, I have studied through it line by line and tried to analyze it, and even ran a debugger on it while it was running, and it is a complete mystery to how it works. I just have no idea what it's doing. It appears to pass connections through, but then it doesn't, and then it does another thing, and then it does some other magic with low-level passing of sockets over another socket. You can see what I mean when I say it's like it has schizophrenic design.
How enigmatic. That's programming for you, I suppose. Now, all of this information here, was this something that you learned in school, or is this like mainly self-taught?
A lot of the stuff that I learned in school was pretty much the basics to figure out how to understand what I'm doing here. In terms of equivalency in to a school level, I'm doing basically graduate level work right now, if not postgraduate. A lot of the stuff I know how to do, like complicated deployment of scalable, multi-tenant, reliable infrastructure. I know I said a lot of buzzwords there. A friend and I used to have a competition of using the most buzzwords to describe our job as possible. Basically, I'm trying to make this sucker cloud scale.
Wow. That sounds like an impressive job right there.
And cloud scale is sort of the... it's a troll that was come up with back when some of this stuff was being written. I was working on some of the stuff on a different level. But I find cloud scale is a great way to... it's a great layman's term. Hysterical one at that. You there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Like I was just mentioning here in chat.
There's no comfort noise.
Yeah, like I was mentioning in the chat room there, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought you said Cloudsdale for a second there, and I thought, no, that's an amusing image in and
Yeah.
of itself. But
No cloud scale.
so,
And
well, let's see.
cloud scale is a great word, though.
It is. Now I'm just mentioning the word cloud scale, and I'm like thinking someone like rock climbing, only instead of like climbing rocks, they're climbing on clouds. Like, man, if the technology ever gets to that point.
Just you wait. Lucid dreaming, man.
Yes. Oh man, if that's another image right there. I mean, I've always wanted to do. I've always thought of what would I think would probably be the most awesome invention ever would be like to if I could take like a machine and just like a helmet or something and just wear it to bed with me and just dream about being able to lucid dream and actually be able to write what I dream as I'm dreaming it without actually having to physically write it down like while I'm consciously awake and being distracted by a bunch of stuff.
Oh, I'd love to have that for coding.
So that would be like the best thing ever.
Sometimes, literally, the slowest part about programming is typing.
Yeah.
Really, when it comes down to it, the human body is just so slow compared to the mind. It's amazing. And lucid dreaming is actually pretty easy to pick up. The hard part is remembering it. From what I remember how to describe it, in lucid dreaming, what you usually do is you try to figure out that you're dreaming and then realize that things are fake and not wake up.
Yeah.
And that last one is the key part, because usually when you realize that it's a dream, one of your first instincts is to wake up, to go back to reality. It's actually hard to sort of root yourself into the fantasy because you can control everything. There's no like fight to it. So instinctively, your brain is just like, oh, this is garbage.
See,
The Matrix actually touches at this a bit. I believe when the architect is talking to Neo in the control room.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. Sort of the human brain will instinctively reject fantasy as if you try to inject it as reality. Your brain will just say no. Fuck you. This isn't real.
Yeah. I've had issues where it's like I can control my dreams as well, and there's been times I've had dreams where I don't, I can't control it, but I remember pretty much about almost all of it. There's, let's see, I have it written down here. This is like one of the really strange ones that I had. So the weird thing is, this was back when my mom was still alive. This was after my grandmother had passed, but my mom was still alive. But my dream was that I was at the store. I was with both my mom and my grandmother, and we were basically just shopping for a birthday present for my cousin Angela. The thing is that my maternal grandmother, all my grandparents have actually been deceased for about 5-6 years at that point. But we decided on getting a watch for my cousin. Simple watch, not too shabby, somewhat small with a nice little wood finish with one of those square faces with the Roman numerals. But then I realized that during the dream, I've already got a watch that for my cousin. But by the time I turn around to protest, my grandma and my mother have already bought the watch and they're heading out the door along with a shopping cart of various assorted items that apparently my grandma had been pushing around that I didn't realize until just then. So I shrug and I follow them outside, and I'm glancing around because I'm kind of wondering where they go. It's like they just disappear. But
Hmm.
then I hear my wife tell me, "Let's head to the bank first. I got to deposit a check. I'll meet it with you later." And I just say, "Okay, that's fine." And she's about 4'5". A little padding around the middle, shoulder length black hair, pretty curvy, nice hazel eyes, and apparently she's with our kid, and he's about maybe a little light skinner than his mother. She's got a bit of a darker complexion, and I turn around to see where my mom and my grandma appear to. They're somehow apparently now a quarter mile away from me, and they're heading into like what seems to be the most freaking huge McDonald's ever when my spouse starts heading across the parking lot to this one-story bank, and I'm about to follow my mom and grandma when I'm suddenly stopped by a sudden realization. Wait a minute, I don't have a wife.
I was just about to say.
I don't even have a girlfriend. So I turn around to my so-called spouse, confused and about to ask what the hell's going on, when I see that she somehow crossed the entire parking lot in like 2 seconds and is entering the bank. And I run over myself and I enter the building, and that's when I walk in. I'm suddenly assaulted by like bright, vibrant colors. I mean, yellow walls with red stripes, green angular blocks, and like purple spherical shapes, like painted around. Like I'm like, it looks someone like painted Tetris all over the walls. I mean, it looks more like a freaking daycare center than anything else. And I turn around and I thought I saw my so-called spouse enter into a stairwell and climb up a flight of stairs. And keep in mind that this is a one-story building. This shouldn't have a stairwell. So without thinking, I go into the stairwell and I follow her, and it's not particularly huge, but it's quite tall on its own. So I go up the stairs about a flight, and I enter another hallway with what looks to be like classrooms or audition rooms or something like that. Each room along the wall has at least one fairly giant window from the wall that gives outsiders a really good look inside. So I pass by one and I take a look inside, and I see someone trying to sing, and she gets sucked up by Kirby. Like the Nintendo character, Kirby.
What?
So, and I don't think of it anything outside of this as just being kind of weird. So I just continue on down the hall. I turn around another corridor and I head down another stairwell. I've long since lost sight of my so-called spouse and son at this point, and I'm just blindly wandering around without any sense of direction. I must have climbed at least 3 or 4 sets of stairs, but eventually I walk out of the stairwell and into this slightly corridor that eventually dumps me into this sort of area. It's huge. It's massive. It looks kind of like a cross between a train station, and a drama theater, or like any major Broadway-esque theater. I mean, it's a double-story area with seating on both levels, but there's 2 stages. On the one level I'm at, there's a stage on the upper level I'm at, and there's a stage on the lower level. Now, the crazy thing is there doesn't seem to be any way to access this lower level. Don't see any stairwells, I don't see a staircase, I don't even see like an elevator going on to the second stage, but the second lower stage is connected to the raised elevated platform that I'm on. I mean, now this is kind of hard to describe, but it's like I'm on a large platform. I mean, the stage itself looks really simple, like a flat, almost wooden ship sort of area. There's a guardrail all along one edge, save for maybe directly above where the second stage is, with the curtains keeping the second stage hidden from view. The first stage above has an elevated platform with a chair, a stool, and a spotlight, but otherwise nothing. Now, the upper stage is mostly featureless. It has a bunch of tables, but directly over on the other side of the room, across from the railway tracks, is another double story of tables and chairs, and it looks kind of like a huge restaurant. So I'm looking around while I'm on the platform of the first stage, and I'm trying to figure out who could have possibly designed this crazy place as I slip into a door leading into what I could only describe as a backstage area when I feel someone clap me on the shoulder and turn me around. This huge burly woman hoists an electric guitar into my hands, and she grumbles, "Where the hell have you been? You're on in 3 minutes." And before I can say anything, she pushes me out and back onto the stage through this black veil, and I'm back out with the stool and the chair in front of me. Now, Only now, what was once completely and empty and deserted is now occupied entirely by ponies from the show. I mean, they're freaking everywhere. They're multicolored, ranging from the unicorns to Pegasi to Earth ponies. I mean, just wide eyes and wide grins, and they're all looking very excited, and they're all talking and murmuring, and more than a few sets come my way when they realize there's somebody out. But then the woman, I'm sitting on the stage and I'm getting ready to play when the woman whispers to me, "You're supposed to perform on the lower stage." And I blink and I whirl back and I'm like, "How the hell am I supposed to get down there?" And she says, "I don't know, you're on in a couple minutes, curtain's still closed, just climb down them." And I blink, and as soon as I do, the woman is gone. And I sigh and I strap the guitar to my back and I actually look over the ledge, directly overlooking where the second is, and I actually hoist myself up over the railing, and I slowly and carefully, I grab myself onto the curtain of the fabric, and I try to begin climbing my way down. And I somehow managed to pull like 4 or 5 stitches where it's stapled directly to the wood, but the curtain holds, and I managed to make it down about the 3 meters or so that I'm supposed to get there. Once I get down to the stage, I turn around, and all the ponies from the first and second level across the railway are staring at me expectantly and really excited me. And I pull the guitar around in front of me, and I'm just about to play when I suddenly come to another realization. I don't know how to play the guitar. I've never played it before in my life. I'm not any musician. So I go up to the microphone and I pick it up and I introduce myself and I basically explain that I have no idea what's going on. I'm sorry to disappoint, and I don't know, what's going on here. And I'm backing my way up, and I start to climb my way back up the wall, which is for some reason quite graspable. I mean, there's no handholds or footholds. I'm basically doing a Spider-Man and just crawling my way up the wall, back up to the higher floor. While I'm at the same time, I'm trying to explain to this crowd that hey, I'm sorry, but I'm not any sort of entertainer. I'm searching for somebody that's very dear to me, and I'm grateful for assistance. And it was at that point that my cell phone went off and woke me up.
And that was one dream?
And that was one dream, yes.
Holy mother of crap.
That was like maybe the one dream, like one of the very few weird dreams that I remember almost in perfect detail. But now that's probably about it.
Probably.
So yeah. Let's see. Do I have another one here? I think I have maybe one other if I can. Because I remember actually writing it down and. Oh, here's another one. This is another one that I have here. This is like the only other one that I have. Okay, so I'm at home and I'm outside and I'm looking up into the sky. The pale moon shimmering against the dark, inky expanse of the night sky. So, but the thing is not only am I outside, I'm also in my bed. I'm wide awake. I'm alert. I'm not able to sleep in the dead hours of the wee morning. It's about maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that, and I decided that, okay, a meal is going to help me get some sleep. So I decided to go ahead and head inside, and I get myself something to eat. So while I go inside at the dining room, sitting at the table, is my cat Baby. Now, my cat is deceased. He passed away due to feline leukemia sometime last year. But he's sitting at the table and he's enjoying a small bowl of cereal and milk. And as I'm coming inside, he glances up at the table, and he's not only is he eating a bowl of cereal and milk, he's also doing a Sudoku puzzle with his right paw. Yeah, Sudoku. Yes. He's got his right paw curled around a pencil and his left paw on the spoon, and he's clad in a baby blue bathrobe and slippers. And he smiles up at me, and his tail is thumping lightly against the chair, and he's like, "Hey, what's the matter? Can't you sleep?" And I'm just staring at him, and the only odd thing I see about this is that I must be imagining things. Cats can't play Sudoku. And, he's speaking perfect English. He's eating cereal and milk with a spoon and a bowl, and he's clad in the bathrobe and slippers, and the only thing that I find weird is he's playing Sudoku. So, so I'm like, no, I can't sleep. And I said, you know, and I'm just, hey, don't mind me, I'm just gonna grab a snack. He says, you know what, mate? You know what you need? You need a girlfriend. And I'm like, what? And he's like, seriously, mate, you go like on 25 now, and you still haven't found somebody yet. I mean, that nice old chicken lady is right. You need to get on the ball, kiddo. And I'm like, but I haven't found anybody yet. And you're like, you haven't found anyone yet, mate. You haven't even looked. And I said, maybe I'm not ready for a relationship. And maybe you're just scared, he shoots back to me. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Just I don't want to deal with you right now. I'm hungry and I'm sleepy, and I really don't want to question my life choices right now. And he says, you humans and your weird methods, I'll never understand you. And I said, okay, well, Dr. Love, what would you precisely do if you were me? And he says, my cat looks up to me and he says, I'd find a nice looking good lady, I'd club her over the head, and I'd drag her home. Done. And I just sort of stare at him, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? And he says, well, why? Is that not simple enough for you? He says, well, no. I mean, ignoring the very real fact I'd be charged guilty with assault, battery, let's see, possible other stuff, possible other charges. I'm looking at maybe 20 years to life. I kind of get the feeling that my potential mate would be kind of frowning on me if I did something like that. But, that's not how things work. And so I proceed to explain to my cat how you're supposed to go about courting a woman. And he says, that sounds very complicated. And he reaches over and he takes a swig out of a coffee mug that says world's #1 cat. And I says, yeah, it can be. And he goes back to his puzzle and he fills out a couple of numbers and he says, I like my method better. And I'd say, you're just such a violent kitty. and I'm like, okay, you know what, fine. And so I get my snack and I get, a drink, and I'm about ready to head back outside, and I suddenly come to the next realization, wait a minute. Well, what just happened? And I turn around to speak to my cat again, and Baby's just curled, sleeping up in the chair. There's no pencil, there's no Sudoku, there's no bathrobe, there's no mug, there's no tiny little bunny slippers, and I'm like, wait, what? And I take off my glasses and I rub my eyes, and just regular old normal cat. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm losing it. So I turn around and I head back outside, but just as I'm about ready to head back outside, sitting there in the sink is an empty bowl with milk speckles and an empty mug that says Knurl's #1 cat. And then my cell phone goes off again.
What?
So, yeah, like I said, those were like probably the two weirdest dreams that I've ever had in my whole life that I remember like right off the top of my head.
Something that you might find interesting. There's actually a drug called I think it's DMT that the brain releases while you're dreaming.
Yeah.
And that's actually pretty much one of the only illegal substance, one of the only federally controlled substances that the brain produces naturally.
That's actually rather interesting. I never knew about that.
Oh, yeah.
A natural, illegally occurring substance.
A naturally occurring illegal substance. More so than like cocaine or marijuana, because
yeah,
you have to grow it, and like cocaine, you have to soak it in gasoline or crazy crap.
Yeah. But yeah.
It's like a Class 2 federally controlled substance, and it's abundant in human biology.
I never knew that. That is insane.
I think it's also one of the active ingredients in cough syrup too.
Huh. Well,
which is why when you have cough syrup, you trip.
That does not surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, I remember there was one time back when it was actually no, it was either last year or the year before that that I was really sick, and I took maybe like 6 tablespoons of Mucinex, and
Oh
mom
God.
and mom told me that I looked stoned off my ass. And I felt it. I am not gonna lie. I mean,
Oh, you'd be hallucinating.
I think I was. No, I'm pretty sure I was. I don't remember what I saw, but I know that I must have. I know that just my room was just swimming around, and I'm like, I remember there was things going on that I was pretty positive that shouldn't been physically possible, but I don't remember any of that. And that's one of the. I actually find it upsetting because I remember these crazy dreams, and yet I don't remember what I remember during a cough
Your
drop.
trip.
Yeah, a cough drops and juice drug trip. Yeah,
Brains are weird.
yeah.
They're just so weird.
But yeah, to mention something there on in Texas there, yeah. If I can swing it, yes, I am definitely gonna be uploading this to YouTube. So yeah, I am. I'm gonna be editing this together, and I'm going to be throwing this up on my personal channel. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this up on the actual BwB channel, but I will definitely be
How
throwing this
long
up.
are we at already?
The conversation thus far is about going on about close to 2 hours.
Oh wow,
So yeah.
it happens.
So yeah. That's pretty much the end of my spiel. I don't know of anything else I could go off on this. So. Unless anyone else has any questions for the two of us, I mean, I might as well go ahead and cut it off here. I mean, we're about pretty much the regular length of a Babble with Bronies episode as it is.
Except we haven't linked art or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
We've just been ranting about things. Oh,
Huh.
did I have any Wired dreams? One time I did have a dream about the magazine Wired. I actually did. It was Edward Snowden on let me find a picture of this front page.
He was actually
And,
trying to say weird. He just kind
yes,
of.
I know. I'm,
I see. Play on words.
um, they recently they did have a episode. They did have an issue, and here is the cover of it. It has no words on it. It's really just a picture of Edward Snowden holding a flag, and in my dream it was talking to me, and I don't really remember anything else. I think it was talking to me about encryption or something, and how I need to save people, or I don't know. I have weird dreams that I don't remember. I'm no fun.
Let's say, I actually
Wow,
wanted.
are my colors really that unreadable?
They look fine to me.
No, I mean I'm looking at the stream. It might be the color balance on my surface, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because no, it looks like regular old red against blue to me, and looks perfectly fine on myself. So
Something I never really understood is why the colors. I mean, uh, why? I've never really understood that.
I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you. I have no idea either. So
It's just so weird.
say to answer JE's earlier question about why I was in a dream, why would I question what's going on? To be perfectly honest, I like to consider myself a logical person, and when something really crazy just sort of happens to fly in the face of something, there are times that just sort of strike me like, wait a minute, something just doesn't seem right here. This shouldn't be possible. I mean, a lot of times, most of the time, it doesn't, but there are just points where I'll be dreaming and just hey, wait a minute. This doesn't seem right here. It's like, how like what Xena said, when you have to realize you're dreaming and not wake up. It's kind of like to the point to where I realize that, I something isn't right here. I'm not quite realizing I'm dreaming, but I know something isn't, you know, some something smells rotten in Denmark here. And just
Actually, what's interesting is from what I found with lucid dreaming, that sort of something isn't right here is when usually the one of the best times you can enter a lucid state.
yeah, it's just when you realize that something just doesn't seem crazy or something doesn't seem right, is that you realize that you're dreaming.
That's one of the points. It's usually at there one of two things happens. You either wake up or you wake up or you go lucid or you just are like, oh well, okay, it must be that coffee I had this morning that's making me see kittens fighting each other with water balloons.
And I have actually
Damn you folders.
yeah, I've actually attributed something like that to some of my weirder stuff that I've had, is because a lot of times I notice that when I eat something like right before bed, um, especially if I happen to have like a large pizza, and like eat like over half the thing and just go to bed almost immediately thereafter. Yeah, it will help me sleep, but then sometimes like my dreams that I'll have afterwards can be some of like among the weirdest I've ever had. And I don't know what it is, if it's just something in the cheese or if it's just having just eaten before bed, it just screws with my brain, or I don't know. But then again, I also notice that outside, sources will sometimes factor into my dreams. I mean, I've noticed this with my dad a lot. There's been times where I see him sleeping on the couch and the TV will be going, and then somebody on TV will say something, and Dad will actually speak out as if in response to that. And I'm like, I can only just imagine. I sometimes wish I could see what he was dreaming. just what's going on in his mind. But it's not just with my dad. I mean, there's been times I've noticed that with people as well, other outside of that.
Yeah.
That'd be something to look into, just as to study on the side. Just,
Lucid dreaming?
well, not just lucid dreaming, but just dreaming in general. Just, the study of the brain.
It's interesting because it's one of the few times that I think it's actually your brain trying to distract parts. It's your brain trying to make sense of everything, and during you actually enter a lot of states of dreaming without you realizing it. Not a lot of them are remembered because the only time you really remember dreams is when you actually are waking up during them.
Yeah.
It's sort of when it gets pushed back into a conscious state, and that's when you really remember it.
It's actually kind of interesting because I'm going to answer Tex's question here. How often do I daydream? I'm going to admit I daydream all day. I mean, my brain is constantly thinking. I'm constantly imagining things. I'm constantly imagining. This is again delving back into my being, considering myself an author. I like to write, and I love to think of ideas for, like, stories and role plays. My brain is constantly on overdrive, thinking up ideas, plot lines, characters. To me, my brain is a constant television show that is just constantly on. I mean, there's just storylines going on from one to another. I mean, it'll jump from maybe one idea to the other to another, and even if I'm not actually thinking of that, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of my life. I'm thinking of what to do. I'm thinking of You know how some people will talk to themselves? I will carry on entire conversations with myself. I will hold debates with myself, with one side and the other. I will actually, um, act as if I'm instructing someone how to do something. Like just the entire. I'm I'm gonna admit something. Like just to give an example, when during yesterday at work, when I was doing my Saturday checkup at the church that I do on my Saturday duties, almost the entire time I was there, I was mumbling out loud to myself, as if I were speaking to somebody present, how to play bullshit. The card game bullshit. And
Oh, that's a fun one.
and if someone were to just come up to me and just say, "Who the hell are you talking to?" I would just be like, "I'm not speaking to anybody." And people would look at me like I'm weird, and that really doesn't bother me because I know I'm weird. It's an odd quirk of mine, and it's something that I live with. And I have been discouraged by a good number of family members that I shouldn't be doing that because people will think I'm crazy. And be perfectly honest with you, I mean, hell, let them think I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. I'm not right in my head. But we to a degree, we're all a little not right in our heads. So that that's just my opinion.
For to be left in my head.
So yeah. Of course, that's got me thinking of that stupid joke now. Did you hear about the guy that got cut in half? He's all right now. Or no, the guy who. No, I'm sorry, I screwed it up. The joke is, do you know about the guy who lost the entire left half of his body? He's all right now. So. Da 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 da. Stupid jokes. I don't know what it is about them, but it just make me grin anyway. But again, I go off on a tangent, and I'm just drawing a blank now of where to go from here.
We've pretty much gone to a cotangent from here.
Well, we're about, like I said, 2 hours and 2 hours and 6 minutes in. I suppose this would probably be a good time to call it up, call it wraps, as any.
Anyone out there in the stream want to play anyone out there in the stream have any requests for things for things that they want to see me stream in the next, I don't know, 20, 50 minutes, hour, something? Games or something. I don't know. I'm bored. I'm actually, while we're talking right now, you might have noticed that there's this sort of semi-regular key clicking noises.
Yeah.
I'm actually playing The Binding of Isaac right now in parallel.
Oh, that's fun. It's actually kind of funny because I was actually tempted to throw on the Wii and actually start playing Super Paper Mario while I was trying to do this, but I didn't want to seem like I was being rude. So.
Oh yeah, I multitask all the time. It's insane. A lot of the time, it used to be that when I was coding, a lot of my time I'd be playing Halo, trying to work things out, trying to work out the design. It's one of the most. From one of my coworkers said it was the most bizarrely interesting strategies he's ever heard.
That is kind of fun. So, but we all have our own little quirks. So. I can't tell if Tex is making a request or I think he's just saying what he's doing. I think he's just, yeah.
Yeah, I still have. I think I forgot to shut down that TF2 server from last time, and I haven't noticed it for development stuff yet. I actually that TF2, like I said, that TF2 server is running on a server in my parents' basement.
Oh, nice. So, oh man,
that thing takes so much abuse from me.
I think he says he is making he is making a request. So, oh. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. So,
Okay.
thank you all for joining us.
Hmm.
Xena being on the chat here and joining in with the discussion and you know listening to my random nonsense. That dream, I swear. If I, if
My nonsense is more random.
say, if hey, if I ever have any other crazy lucid dreams, and I wind up, writing them down, I will definitely go ahead and share them on stream at a later date as well. Just give you all an entertaining story. So, but yeah, thank you all for joining us. This has been Mr.
Hmm.
Ben.
And this is Xena signing off.
All right, take care, everyone.
Hmm.